liquidity is just getting started. I mean, the Fed pivoted in Q4. They didn't call it that, but it is what it is. They call it reserve management, but it's really just QE. They're printing money. They went from letting their balance sheet run off to expanding their balance sheet, 40 billion a month, and that's just the beginning. And as Lynn says, it's, she calls it the gradual print, which I accept. I mean, 40 billion a month is only 480 on a balance sheet of 6.5 trillion. That's still modest, but I think the gradual print's going to morph into the big print. I think the reason that's going to occur is that we're back at the point at which money is really tight, and there's all kinds of signs of that. The Fed didn't want to cut rates in the fourth quarter. The Fed didn't want to do what it did. They've tried to rebrand it. They made it seem like, oh, it's no big deal. This is just reserve management. It's not really printing money, but it's printing money. And so, you can smell the big print coming. I think it's highly likely it'll come this year. And I think when it comes, Bitcoin's going to scream. I mean, we're going to double or triple probably very quickly. So it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, it's interesting to me psychologically that everyone in Bitcoin land now feels the way that the gold people felt in 2023 when gold was flat on its ass after, Bitcoin was too, but after Powell did his whole tightening act, it really hammered gold, and more importantly, it hammered the gold miners. And so we were all walking around pretty beat up, wondering if it's ever going to work. And of course, just give it a little bit of time, and it's worked in spades. I mean, gold mining indices, my fund, et cetera, everything's up 150% plus in 1 year. And so I think that's really what Bitcoiners have to look forward to. And, everybody's kind of getting tested. Do you truly have a long time preference or not? I mean, I get it if you bought it a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, or, even if you bought it at the top at 124, you're down to 90. That's uncomfortable. But those of us who've been around it for a long, long time know that, it can lose 70% of its value and it'll come back. So it's going to come back, and I expect it'll come back with a vengeance this year. By the way, it also makes MicroStrategy just an unbelievably compelling buy. And I find it hilarious that everybody's, shitting on Saylor and hating Saylor, and, all the people who got sucked into these, Bitcoin treasury companies and lost a lot of money are very angry at the narrative that some of the high profile influencers used, this Bitcoin per share metric that they promoted as a kind of a perpetual motion machine, which it wasn't. And so there's a lot of bitterness, and, we just got to wring out all the weak hands, and then we'll go up to a new level. And I think that new level will be somewhere between 180 and 300, something like that. I think that'll probably be achieved, this year, early next year. I mean, but to be fair, I was wrong about this year. I thought gold this year would go to 4,000 or 5,000, so that we got that right. I thought silver would go to 50. It overshot that. And I thought Bitcoin could go to 140, and actually made it to 123, but not for very long. And then it backed and filled around 91, or 80, 90, so it's going to happen. And it's just, I mean, people they've got to dial out and take a longer term perspective. If you're not happy with Bitcoin, you're not looking at the longer term picture. That's kind of the way I see it.